What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to what's the weather like in England. I came across this video and I realized this is a topic that I really haven't learned about since I started this channel. I don't really know what to expect from this video. I've never really learned about the weather in England at all. There are obviously stereotypes that pop into my head when I think about the weather in England. For example, the stereotype that England gets a ton of rain. Like, the stereotype is that England literally has rain every day. And that could be the case if you go to different areas around England. But obviously, I know that if you stay in one area in England, they don't literally get rain every day. But I am curious, is that stereotype accurate that England on average gets more rain than a lot of areas around the world? I really don't know. It's just a stereotype that I've heard of. And other things that I think about when I think about the weather in England, I'm under the impression, I guess, that England, generally speaking, doesn't get overly hot for too long at a time. You know, I'm sure that England has record-breaking days. I'm sure from time to time they get into 90 or 100-degree Fahrenheit days. But just in my head, I'm just under the impression that that is probably not the norm. I'm also under the impression that England doesn't really get too extremely cold for too long at a time. I guess you could say that my impressions about the weather in England is that it generally is fairly mild and kind of cool year round. But anyways, guys, I'm not really sure what to expect here, so let's just go ahead and dive in and learn about what the weather's like in England.
It's very cold, it's very wet, very humid. And you always have to have an umbrella with you, even if it's really sunny. You never know.
Even if it's really sunny, do you agree with that?
Yeah, you never know when it's going to start raining, especially if you're cycling somewhere. When it rains, you're cycling into the rain, you get more wet.
What's the weather like in England?
Well, the weather in England is a bit funny, we could say. Well, we're used to very warm climate in general, so compared to where we're from, it's usually a little bit too cold, we can say.
In England, it's not that different from where we're from, which is Vancouver, Canada, which is on the southern part of Canada. Today, it's cloudy, it's a little breezy, quite cool, but a beautiful autumn day.
The weather in England changes every day. You have no idea what the weather in England can be. Today it's grey and cold and not raining. But yeah, it changes every day.
What's the weather like in England?
It's very unpredictable. There's a lot of rain. It can be dark sometimes.
Not much sunshine.
No. Make sure you wear a coat.
Well, I think it's the first time I've worn a coat all what year, but it's that time of year again, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's very windy as well. As a cyclist, I have to be aware of the wind. Telling us
Safety first, hey?
yeah, every time. Safety first, definitely.
Right now it's pretty cloudy and chilly.
Yeah. Is it always like that?
Well, I've only lived here for about 2 months, so in my experience, when I first got here, it was really nice in the summer, but now it's gotten a lot colder and cloudier.
The weather is very changeable in England. It's quite often cloudy, quite often rainy. At the moment it's overcast, which means there are clouds covering the sun. Otherwise, it's good because you can spend a lot of time outdoors. It makes it interesting. It's a good subject of conversation. You can always talk to people about the weather because there'll always be something to say about it.
So do you like the weather here in England then?
Well, you know, I come from the Nordic lands, as you can tell from my helmet.
All right, okay.
And so yeah, it actually fits me, we could say.
Because it feels so much like home, I do like it, and I like to have 4 seasons. I've lived in places where there aren't 4 seasons, so I love the seasons.
Okay.
I think it's good weather. It gives variety. It's good for the plants, and it's kind of exciting in a way with thunderstorms and rain. Sometimes torrential rain, sometimes brilliant sunshine, and we had the warmest weather ever recorded in the UK in Cambridge here this year, which was a fascinating and slightly alarming statistic.
Yeah.
What is the highest temperature you guys have seen in England? Obviously, it's going to differ from the northern part of England to the southern part of England, but I am very curious on what, not just the records, but really what the average high like the hottest day of the year, what the average hottest days are and what the average coldest days are, to see if they differ from what I'm expecting. But those they were from Canada actually. They were from Vancouver, Canada, and I can understand that's like a Pacific Northwest type of weather, which is a very, very cool, rainy, damp type of weather. Definitely much different from what I'm used to. I'm in an area right now where it gets very cold during the winter, but it gets very hot during the summer. And so far I'm under the impression, based off of what these people are saying, that it's very unpredictable. And that makes a lot of sense considering that England is basically, it's an island. So you're surrounded by water, on three sides. You got Scotland to the north, but that's very interesting. I can imagine that would be very unpredictable. The ocean is just going to, bring in lots of rain at times, and probably does make it fairly windy, I'm guessing, as well, especially if you're more towards the coast.
So, do you guys like the weather here in England?
Don't know if we have a choice, really. You have to just grin and bear it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's varied. The summer's quite nice.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, it's nice when it snows, but when you're grown up and it snows, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because you still have to go to work.
I think being English, I talk about the weather a lot. Do I like it? That's a difficult question. Maybe.
Do you like the weather so far here in England?
Yeah, we'll see how I feel after a few more months, but so far it's been good.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So do you guys like the weather here in England?
Not really.
No.
I'm from Birmingham.
Oh yeah, I'm
and
from Wolves.
It rains all the time.
It does, yeah.
Every day, most days.
Wow.
We just tolerate the weather here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yourself?
I like the green and I like all the trees and flowers, but for that to happen, it has to rain. So I guess I'm just part
very
of it.
true. Very
fine.
true.
Bit of give and take, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And yourself?
Do I like I love the weather. I mean, there's a bit of rain.
Okay.
And it can be quite damp, but it's fine. The weather is fine.
Brilliant. Yeah. Do you think that the weather affects your mood?
I think, lots of people are smilier on a sunny day. It's nice when it's sunny.
Very true.
Maybe long, cold winters do affect your mood a bit. You get a bit cold and sad.
Yeah, indeed. Sad as in, have you heard of SAD, sad?
I have heard of SAD. I don't have SAD, but I have friends who have it.
That's a shame.
Yeah, okay. And it makes the winters quite hard for them.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, so I don't suffer from SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and that's where the clouds and the rain and whatnot can make people feel kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel more focused and happy to be inside working, and so it's fine on
that's true. I get what you're saying.
Day, wet day. But I do find that when it's a spectacular day, you just want to be outside. There's it perks up your energy somehow.
Mm-hmm. It's harder to get work done though.
Oh yeah, it is.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Well, that's perfect, folks. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Well, thank you very much.
Does the weather affect your mood at all?
Yes, I think so. If I wake up and it's a sunny day, it's easier to get out of bed in the morning than if it's cold and windy.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad though. I haven't felt it too much since I've lived here.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually like dark, cool days. I find them far more productive. That's the opposite to what many people find. But I don't feel the same way regardless of the weather. The weather affects how I feel.
Okay. Yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the winter, getting up for work and stuff. If it's cloudy and dark, and you're just I just don't want to do it. Yeah. But on a nice summer sunny day, you're I feel like I've got energy to go to work. It's good.
Nice one. Do you think the weather affects your mood?
It does, yeah. So when it's sunny, you're just happy all the time. Yeah. When it's raining, you're you just don't want to do anything.
Makes sense. Yeah. Is that the same for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. When I'm in my house and I look outside and it's grey and dark, I could stay inside and watch some TV shows.
Yeah. You wouldn't do any work, just TV shows.
TV shows and relax.
Makes sense. Do you think the weather affects your mood at all?
Well, yeah, it surely does. It surely does affect my mood. It drives me nuts, we could say.
Okay. And special question for yourself. Do you prefer the day or the night better?
well, I'm used to live at night, so yeah, definitely the night.
Very nice. Thank you very much for your help. Cheers.
No problem.
Do you think the weather affects your mood at all?
I'm definitely a night owl. Always have been. Like when I was growing up with, my mom, she was a night owl too. And I'd be up with her. I'd like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Just couldn't sleep. Always been that way. I've always struggled. Now, I've had to, throughout my life, be up early in the morning and stuff, but I've always struggled with it. It was something that I never gravitated toward being an early riser. Always wanted to be. Not always, but for a very long time, I've wanted to be an early riser, just could never do it. I still struggle with it to this day. It's just not in. I've heard that it is genetic. People are wired to be night owls or morning larks. And definitely for me, I am definitely a night owl. Absolutely. But it does affect me because I do very well early in the mornings. I'm very productive early in the mornings. It's just, I just find it hard to go to sleep early enough to feel productive in the mornings. But anyway, let's continue.
Yes, it does, and I start to feel quite apprehensive when the pressure's changing, when rain's coming or the weather's deteriorating, and everyone enjoys themselves and smiles when the weather's sunny. It begins to be sunny, but after it's been hot for a while, people get quite short-tempered and irritable. So it's quite a change around.
Indeed, yeah. And finally, yourself.
For me, it does affect my energy levels. It's important not to let the weather get you down, but at the same time, when it's cold, I don't want to leave my house at all, ever, ever.
Especially not on a bike.
Especially not on a bike.
All right, thank you very much, folks.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that was pretty cool, man. Like I said, this is the first time I'm learning about the weather from the people on the streets themselves. And based off of what I've gathered here, it seems like people tend to, not just people from England, but people that are there. Sounds like an American guy, and there was this couple from Vancouver, someone from one of the Nordic countries, someone from Italy, and altogether, I guess what I've learned is it seems like England is a fairly cool country. I kind of was under that impression. There is 4 seasons, which is pretty cool. I like 4 seasons. I've always been a fan of having the different seasons. I like that change because who wants to have hot weather for well, some people do, but I don't want to have hot weather for 8-9 months of the year. But I definitely don't want to have cold weather either for that long. So I like the change up from spring to summer to fall to winter. And it sounds like you kind of get that in the UK or in England and probably the UK as well. I'm guessing the weather in England is also very similar to what the weather is going to be like in Scotland and Wales. And obviously the temperature change is going to be a little bit different, more north in Scotland and more southern, in Wales. But it's probably going to be fairly the same in terms of rain, I'm guessing. And they were talking about wind. For me, wind is one of the things it's one of my least favorite things. And we have a ton of it here. Where I'm originally from, my home state, really didn't have a ton of wind. And I really enjoyed that. I've never been a fan of the wind. But we definitely have it here, and it's so annoying. It's constant. It's just constant wind, especially this time of year. But this was really interesting. It seems like, a lot of humidity, but so it seems like if it gets hot, you're going to feel that humidity, but also if it gets cool, you're going to feel that humidity and it's going to make you feel colder. Lots of wind, lots of rain. That is the stereotype. And these people seem to say that stereotype is accurate, that you guys get a ton of rain. I don't really mind the rain. I like rain. I like thunderstorms, but obviously, if it gets to the point that you're having it every day, it would definitely get old. I like a good rain, once a week or something like that. That's pretty cool. But I don't know. If you got it all the time, I can sure that would you'd probably get used to it though, but I don't know. But this was cool, guys. I really enjoyed this video, and I'd like to look at some other weather videos, maybe learn about the weather in Scotland and Ireland and Wales. I'm sure some of that's, especially the Wales. I'm guessing the Welsh weather is probably very similar to a lot of England's weather. But I'm guessing like if you go up to the islands off of the coast of Scotland, for example, I bet the weather's quite different than English weather and whatnot. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.